Most people pour this down the drain every single day. The water left over after boiling pasta, the cloudy liquid from rinsing rice, the runoff from a can of chickpeas. It goes into the sink, the drain takes it, and nobody thinks twice. In 1978, a team at Kyushu University documented that one of these liquids applied to rice seedlings twice per week produced a 35% increase in biomass within 21 days. The mechanism was identified, published in a peer-reviewed journal, and cited exactly 4 times in the following decade. Then it vanished from the active literature entirely. A Korean farming tradition has been using a fermented version of this liquid for over 600 years. Their soil, worked continuously on the same plots for 6 centuries, is measurably more fertile today than when records began. No synthetic input, no irrigation upgrade, just a liquid that everyone else threw away. Here is what is in that water, why it works, and why the $185 billion fertilizer industry has never once mentioned it to you. What is actually in the water? When you boil pasta or vegetables, the water left behind is not waste. It is a dilute solution of starches, minerals, and the same nutrients that leached out of the food during cooking: potassium, magnesium, calcium, trace amounts of iron and zinc. Rice water is different. When raw rice is rinsed, the cloudy liquid that results contains something the others do not: a dense population of naturally occurring bacteria, primarily from the genus Lactobacillus, that live on the surface of every raw rice grain and transfer directly into the water during rinsing. These are not introduced organisms. They are not added. They are already there, on every grain of rice in your kitchen right now, waiting for conditions that allow them to activate. Lactobacillus is not exotic. It is the same genus responsible for yogurt, sauerkraut, and sourdough, one of the most studied bacterial families in food science. And in soil, it does something that synthetic fertilizer cannot replicate at any price. The Korean tradition and what it proved. The practice traces its roots to Korean natural farming traditions predating the Joseon dynasty. Farmers collected rice wash water, fermented it for 3 to 7 days at room temperature, and applied it to their fields before planting. They called the result lactobacillus serum, and they treated it not as a nutrient supplement, but as a soil inoculant. That distinction matters enormously. A nutrient supplement feeds the plant directly. It is consumed, it runs out, and you buy more. A soil inoculant changes the biology of the soil itself. The organisms colonize the root zone, establish populations, reproduce, and keep working long after the original application is gone. This is the difference between renting and owning. Synthetic fertilizer rents you a season of growth. A healthy soil microbiome, once established, belongs to the land. Modern soil science confirmed exactly what those Korean farmers were doing by observation. A 2019 paper in Applied Soil Ecology documented that lactobacillus inoculation significantly increased populations of mycorrhizal fungi in the root zone. Mycorrhizal fungi extend the effective surface area of a root system by up to 700%. They are the difference between a plant that can access the nutrients already in your soil and one that cannot, regardless of how much fertilizer you pour on top. You cannot buy mycorrhizal activity. You can only build the conditions for it. Fermented rice water builds those conditions. The study that disappeared. The Kyushu University research was not fringe work. The researchers were investigating why certain traditional Japanese farming plots consistently outperformed neighboring fields using identical seed varieties and comparable soil. The consistent variable was rice water applied regularly to the root zone instead of plain irrigation. The 35% biomass increase was not even the most important finding. More significant was what happened to the soil itself. Microbial diversity increased measurably. Phosphorus availability rose without any phosphorus being added. The existing phosphorus in the soil was being unlocked by microbial activity that the rice water had amplified. Read that again. Nutrients already present in the soil, locked in forms plants cannot use, becoming available without a single purchase. The paper was cited 4 times. No follow-up funding arrived. No agricultural extension program in Europe or North America referenced it. Within a decade, it had effectively vanished. The year 1978 is not random. American farmers spent $3 billion on synthetic fertilizer in 1975. The market was accelerating at a rate that no competing method was going to disrupt. Not through conspiracy, but through the simple economics of where research funding flows and whose findings get amplified. A method that costs nothing and compounds permanently was not going to find a sponsor. How to make it and how to use it. There are two versions, fresh and fermented. Both work. They work differently and at different speeds. Fresh rice water is the simplest. Rinse 1 cup of raw white or brown rice in 2 cups of room temperature water. Swirl for 30 seconds. The water turns cloudy immediately. That cloudiness is dissolved starch and surface microorganism transferring into the liquid. Strain out the rice and use the water directly on your plants within 24 hours. Apply at the soil line, not on the leaves. This version delivers immediate starch nutrition to root zone microbes and a light inoculation of lactobacillus. Fermented rice water goes further. Take the same rinsed liquid and leave it in an open container at room temperature for 3 to 5 days. In warm kitchens, 3 days. In cooler ones, up to 7. You will know it is ready when it smells slightly sour, not rotten, sour. The same way sourdough starter smells when it is active. That is lactic acid, the byproduct of lactobacillus fermentation, and it confirms the bacterial population has multiplied significantly. Before applying, dilute it. 10 parts clean water to 1 part fermented liquid. At full concentration, the acidity stresses roots. Diluted, it delivers a dense bacterial inoculation at a pH the root zone can handle. Apply once per week during active growing season, directly to the soil at the base of the plant. For potted plants, results are typically visible within 2 to 3 weeks. Leaf color deepens. New growth accelerates. Plants stalled in the same pot for months begin pushing new leaves within days of the first application. This is not the plant being fed. This is the root zone microbiome activating, unlocking nutrients already present in the potting mix, but biologically unavailable. For cooking water, the rule is simple. Never use water that was salted. Salt accumulates in soil and damages the same microbial populations you are building. Unsalted pasta water, potato water, or vegetable cooking liquid cooled completely and diluted 3 parts water to 1 part cooking liquid can supplement the rice water inoculation every 2 weeks as a direct mineral feed. What compounds over time? This is the property that separates this method from every product on a garden center shelf. Synthetic fertilizer delivers a dose. The plant consumes it. The dose is gone. Next season, same purchase, same invoice, same dependency. The underlying soil biology is unchanged, or in many cases actively degraded, because high nitrogen concentrations suppress the microbial populations that would otherwise do the work for free. Fermented rice water does the opposite. Each application adds to the microbial population already in the soil. Those populations reproduce. They recruit other organisms. They build the fungal networks that expand root access. The soil becomes biologically richer with every watering cycle, not poorer. The Korean farming plots that have been running this method for 6 centuries are not an anomaly. They are a demonstration of what soil does when its biology is supported rather than replaced. The fertility compounds, the inputs required decrease. The system becomes more productive the longer it runs. That is the opposite of every business model built on annual fertilizer sales, and it is precisely why a study demonstrating exactly this mechanism in 1978 received 4 citations and no follow-up. What you have in your kitchen right now. The water from tonight's rice. Cloudy, starchy, already carrying the organisms that Korean farmers cultivated for 6 centuries and Japanese researchers documented and then watched disappear from the literature. It is going down your drain in approximately 4 hours. The science was published. The tradition predates written European agricultural records. The mechanism is confirmed by modern soil biology. The only thing that changed was who was paying for the conversation about how plants are supposed to be fed. Leave it in a jar on the counter. 3 days. Then water your plants.